Give me a second now.
Mike's like, well, we're ready. And now, well,
Where's
give me a second.
There
There
it
it
is.
goes.
Only the most professional.
Hey, come on, give me a break.
I feel like I should start now, but I know Mike's got another thing he needs to hit. I'm expecting it. It's the longest intro ever.
Life on a Friday night. Instead, you're here with us now. Friday Night AMA with your host, ShowTime George. ShowTime George.
ShowTime George.
Oh, I hate that thing so much. I know Jason's thrilled about it. It's the best $30 he's ever spent, but oh man, I hate it. Anyway,
your hatred of it is why my love for it exists.
I made the classic mistake of letting my feelings be known for it. I should have just embraced it and it would have gone away. But I didn't. I tried to reject it and it's here to stay. What is going on, everybody? It is the Sleeper Wire Friday Night AMA. As always, I got my two sidekicks with me, BFTG Jason and the Dirty Jobs 21 Mike. Gentlemen, how are you doing this Friday evening?
George, I'm exhausted, man. I'm happy to be here.
Exhausted.
I'm in bed already. Like, if I nod off in the middle, just like ignore me. You can shut my screen down, and I'll just sit here and snore for y'all.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking if you fall asleep in the middle of the show, Jason, we're not bringing it, and that's not good.
You know what I think? You know what I think you do? If I fell asleep, you guys just finish the show and then just leave it on streaming 24 hours till I wake.
That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, me and George just kind of step away from the camera, make you full screen. That'd be good.
I'm down with that, Mike. I honestly think we should make Jason the full screen and it just be nothing but live streaming him sleeping. That would be awesome.
So would we get more or less viewers?
I think we would get more viewers because people would want to tune in to see if you were still asleep.
I mean, listen, I'm down for it. I fall asleep at the drop of a hat. I don't care if it's on video or not. You guys can watch me fart in my sleep. I don't give a shit.
So, God, I've been looking forward to the show all night. We're just going to jump right into some of these questions. We got some people who've already blown the chat up with questions here for Friday night. They were posting questions before we even started. It's amazing. Oswaldo jumped in almost 15 minutes.
Oswaldo?
He jumped in about 15 minutes before 9 and started asking questions. It was awesome.
You know, if he didn't ask questions, you know what I'd have to say?
What's that?
Where's Oswaldo?
This is true. This is very true. We would have to send out a search party for him, to be honest.
Boo. Yeah, but he's always hard to find in that red hat and the white stripes and the.
So the question he had here is, what up, fellas? Would you guys trade AB ASAP? Clearly, he's referring to the fact that Tampa Bay Bucks just announced within the last hour and a half, 2 hours, have signed AB. Jason, you are the residential Tampa homer here, so I'm just going to throw it to you. What are your thoughts about AB signing with Tampa, and would you trade AB ASAP?
So I think it's a sell while he's hot. You know, like right now, if you can get a second for him in a dynasty league, sell him quick. Do I think he's got a shot to be decent this season? Yeah, a couple games from now. He's not playing this week. He's still suspended through week 8. Week 9 is going to be his first week against the Saints. There's still Evans and Godwin and Gronk there. And what he is insurance, right? What AB is that we had a game against the Chicago Bears where Mike Evans was crippled, Godwin was out, and we were throwing to a guy named Grayson who you didn't know to save your life, right?
I still don't know who he is.
Exactly. So he's a track star. Arians loves him, but the dude can't fucking catch.
I thought he was the guy that worked over in the machine shop.
That's probably what it was. So he, having AB is for the next time somebody's hamstrings hurt. Next time, I love Godwin. He's a great player, but he's injured as much as he's on the field. It seems like so he's insurance. So you're not throwing it to just him and Tyler Johnson and other guys you have no clue who they are. So like I like it. I would sell him quick if you can get a second for him.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
I feel like same thing. I feel like you're probably not going to have him at any higher value than he is right now. Although that is kind of weird to me how much Tom Brady loves this guy. Tom Brady wants this guy involved with his life. He took him up in New England. Now it's like he's trying to take all his favorite things from New England and bring him to Tampa Bay. And I bet Julian Edelman's like sitting there kind of, like that Millhouse gif where he's throwing a Frisbee to himself. I'm sure that's our guy up there up north right now going, man, why isn't he asking me to play with him? Like he's asking all these other people.
Well,
what's that?
Because he costs too much.
Right.
When the Patriots let him go, he'll be with us next year.
Right. Exactly. He'll be at Tampa Bay. Yeah, and then they'll trade Godwin for a fifth or something crazy like that because it's Tom Brady.
So do you guys have any interest in AB in redraft leagues?
I do a little bit.
Yeah.
How much? Okay, so what would in a redraft league? What would you be willing to trade for AB?
So the bar. I mean, listen, I'm trying to get him off the waivers, right? Like
I'm going. Let's assume a lot of people picked him up in their leagues. So all the leagues that I commissioned for BFTG charities, almost every single one he was claimed this past week. Like once the rumblings started to rumble throughout Twitter and throughout the fantasy world that he's eligible to come back week 8. It was somebody that like Mike Clay was talking about it. Matthew Berry was talking about it. So you had these guys in the industry who are huge talking about it. So a lot of people, listened and went and picked him up. They were talking about him on the FF Ballers. So, I mean, a lot of people actually went out and picked him up. So let's say you weren't one of the ones that picked him up. But if you're interested in trying to acquire him now that he's actually on a team. What would you be willing to move for AB?
2 years removed, right? He hasn't played football in 2 years.
Basically, yeah. He had one game last year where he had 5 receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown against what would be considered at the time the worst defense in the NFL, being the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't even know if I make an offer if I'm not the guy getting him off the waivers. Like I don't want him bad enough to. If I have him and somebody needs him and I need running backs, now maybe I'm looking for somebody. George, you and I talked about before the show. Mike, what would you think? Rojo, Antonio Brown. I'm taking Rojo all day, but man, it's close enough that you might be able to throw something small else in there and make that deal.
I think so, especially with the news of Fournette coming back and being active and actually going to be playing in a capacity of playing football again. So, yeah, I think that'd actually be probably a pretty good trade right there. I think I'm with you, though. I don't think I'm really targeting this guy too awful hard. I got him where I could get him. And I didn't, once I saw other people got him in other leagues, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm okay with this.
So I'm not trading anything for Antonio Brown. If I didn't get him off waivers, I don't want him. And the reason why is Jason kind of alluded to it earlier. He can't play this week. He's not playing next week. So that puts it out. He's eligible to return officially, week 9?
Week 9 against the Saints.
Against the Saints. And then playoffs typically start week 13, right? And Tampa's on a bye. So
maybe.
Well, I mean, as of right now, Tampa's on a bye.
Right.
So
I mean, COVID's changed a bunch. So
it has, but I'm not going to assume. I'm not going to go out and predict. 5 weeks from now, a game is going to get moved from COVID. You can't do that. As of right now, according to the schedule, Tampa's on a bye week 13. So that's the information you have. That's what you got to go by. So, I mean, new team, new scheme, new coaching staff. Very little rapport, not rapport, but practice time with his new team. I think at most you're getting a distraction, and I'm not talking like a distraction in the locker room, although that is definitely possible. But I think it's just somebody else for the defenses to have to put an eye on, and I'm not sure he's going to be heavily involved in this offense, at least not the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then he goes on a bye. So maybe for the playoff, like if you can get to the second round or the championship round, maybe he does something for you. But with other mouths to feed there, mainly you got Gronk, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Like there's a lot of mouths there already. I'm not sure AB's going to be anything I actually want.
Yeah, I mean, you're just buying into he could. He was the best wide receiver in football for years and years and years.
Yes, he was. 100% agree. 100%
and so,
agree.
So if you pick him up, you're buying into maybe even if he gets to a fraction of that, he's still a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, but easily a wide receiver 2, right? Like, so you're buying into the hope that he gets back to a little bit of it. And then if he's that good, I don't care what mouths you have to feed. If you've got a 90% AB, he's getting the ball. I mean, let's look at this offense. Scotty Miller's getting passes deep. We talked about Grayson's getting passes deep. Tyler Johnson's getting passes. And some of that's with the other guys on the field. They threw deep to Scotty Miller against the Packers a handful of times. When Evans and Godwin's on the field, like there's a spot for a good wide receiver.
Yeah, but neither one of them were 100%. Evans, and I'm not saying they're 100% now, and I'm not saying they're going to be 100% 3 weeks from now. But let's not pretend that they were full bore 100%, no issues at all. No, they were both pretty lame ducks at that point.
I mean, I don't think so. Like Godwin had a good game, or a relatively good game. He was throwing to Gronk a lot. Like, I'm not. What I'm saying is, there's targets in this offense that it won't go just to Godwin and go to Evans. So there's room there for AB. There really is, but we just have to see if he's still halfway decent. He hasn't been on the field. I'm not sure what the music is.
It's breaking news.
Oh, what's the breaking news, Mike?
You guys have been talking about fucking Antonio Brown too long. Let's move on. Let's get on. Let's get going. Let's ask me anything night. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Let's get off AB. I do want to say also real quick, I'm super excited for Tua. Like, I think Miami's starting him a little early. I don't think they should have benched Fitz, but I'm excited for Tua.
Same here.
Mike calls us out. I'm sitting up. Time to get serious.
It's time to get drunk, buddy. That's what that meant.
No, so
Jason's gonna fall asleep. I wanted to get him out of the show.
Out of here.
He was falling asleep.
Now I'm not in the middle.
We moved Mike to the middle.
Yes.
See, we got here. Yeah, I think Brady is the biggest beneficiary here. Like I said, I don't want to beat the Bucks and AB signing too much more, but definitely Brady is the biggest beneficiary here. Al's upset just because he didn't get him for that reason for trade bait. Does Brady become a super flex trade in Dynasty? No.
He means sell.
Oh. I mean, if you could sell Brady, yeah, I would. Listen, I'd be trying to sell him in Dynasty anyway. The dude's only got a couple of years left. I'd be getting rid of him. Let's see.
I'm going to try to be doing that later. As a fact.
Head bobs in anticipation. Yes,
that
Barry.
was
All the questions before this was before we were even live. Let's see here. Let me scroll back up. Al says the frugal shopper. Laughing at Jason. Jason, do you want to explain why I nicknamed you the frugal shopper? I feel like that's not football related, and you can talk about that.
Yeah, so most of y'all know that George and I do charity BFTG charities for Toys for Tots. We raise money every year. This year, I think we're over 11 grand, right, George?
Correct.
We're over 11 grand.
Pushing to 12. Pushing to 12.
We're gonna push to 12. Yeah. And then every year we go shopping. We take that $11,000 or whatever we raise each year, and we go grocery shopping.
Holy
That's
shit!
a lot of groceries.
You know how much groceries we're getting with over 11 grand this year, Jason?
Almost
Jesus
enough
Christ.
for my dinner.
Mike, you're gonna have to come over, man. We got some food for you to take home.
I'm buying a bunch of steak. That's all
Almost enough to keep the high, Mike. Yeah. So
yes. We'll have that blown in 14 minutes, boys.
We go toy shopping every year. This year we're going to go toy shopping on December 5th. And this year I'm doing a little something. I mean, I did it last year, but I'm really looking out this year for clearance toys, stuff that we can get where normally you could only buy one for $40. Today I found these toddler tricycles. They're the type where when they're really young, your parents can push you around in them. And then as you get a little bit older, you take the handle off of it and the kids can just ride around on them. They're $40 tricycles. I found them at Walmart for $9 each. I bought 5 of them. So, I got 5 tricycles for the price of 1. And so that's why George is calling me the frugal shopper.
There's also the electric razor that you bought the week before.
Yeah, so I bought an electric razor scooter, one of those that can go like 15 miles an hour and has like a 20-mile range, and they're like normally $150, and I got that for $40. Nice. So some kid's gonna get like this really cool scooter that I can't afford it at $150. My kids wouldn't get one, but one of the kids that are needy, gonna get it for free, and it was only $40. Actually, I didn't even take that out of our funds. I just donated that extra money because. What the hell?
Because Jason's rich, that's why.
It's like, whatever, Rocket Boy. I'm sure that you're fucking.
Listen, Jason's got $11,000 to drop on groceries. So
right,
what's $40 to Toys for Tots, right? Al says he's going to give us a drop for free. So Al goes by DJ Please, but we call him by his government name. We want to call him by the name the government knows him by, and that's Al.
DJ Al.
DJ Al. Barry says he appreciates the seasonal backdrop there, Mike. So good job with the little pumpkin.
That's the extent of my Halloween festivity and decorations. I'm just kidding. My house has all kinds of Halloween shit.
It does. I said you told us that you had to decorate it. You lying bastard.
By the way, I'm not used to being like in the host section here where I can put shit right on the screen. So there's the bikes in the cart for Toys for Tots, and then I'll stop sharing the screen. But anyway, so now we're all kinds of weird. Look at that.
Me and Mike are on top.
I must be a power bottom.
So Al wants to know, how is Collusion handled in y'all's leagues? Need some ideas for mine just in case. Mike, how do you like to handle Collusion if you have to deal with that in your leagues?
Man, so this only ever happened in my very, very first year of fantasy football ever, right? We figured out who was out and who was in for the tournament or for the playoffs. And as soon as, I'm telling you, man, I drafted right. My very first pick, I had the 101. I picked Peyton Manning, which is ridiculous, right? What a dumb move nowadays. That happened to be the year Peyton Manning went ham and was the number 1 fantasy scoring player. So it worked out in the end. But so we start getting to the end. My team is just, I pick up Josh Gordon that year on Josh Gordon's lightning in a bottle year. I mean, my team just gets better and better and better. Well, we get down to playoff time. Well, we don't have trade deadlines at the end. And legit, everybody we're coming up on championship time. And legit, everybody in the league besides 3 of us, like, dropped all their or traded all their good players to him for just trash, you know. So pretty soon I'm sitting there facing an all mad team, and I'm going like, what the hell? And so I just pieced together what I could, and I took my loss. And then, you know, that all what that did was set and establish what we did in the future. It really didn't bother me then because we were all brand new to it, you know. And so for me, like I said, it was just, it really didn't bug me. So that's the only actual issue of collusion I've ever had. So,
Jason, how about you? How would you handle collusion in one of the leagues you're in?
So usually how I handle it is I take all the good players and I send all my trash. And then I get the good players and then I've colluded. Is that what we're going for here? I don't know. So I've only seen collusion one time in my league, and George keeps saying it's not collusion.
It's not.
But
It's absolutely not. I didn't give anything of value except for advice, which I give to everybody for free.
You're right. When it comes to your advice, it's not a value. I get it. You're probably right.
That's why I don't charge for it. It's free.
All right, Mike.
Everybody at home saw. Everybody else knows what that came with.
Let's ask the group then. So I'm in a league against George and 11 other guys, but really it's just me and George. And I have the best team in the league, and I've also been real smart with my waiver priority. We're not doing fab. They seem confused by fab, so we didn't go that route.
Too much math.
Yeah, way too much math for a bunch of guys
Fair.
who can't
That's
count to
fair.
one. So we've got I've got the number 2 waiver priority. I'm sorry, I got the number 2 waiver priority. Now George goes and tells somebody to pick up Devontae Booker the year he was blowing up in Denver. Yep. He tells the guy with the first pick to go pick up Devontae Booker, not because the guy really needs a running back, because he didn't.
No, that's the thing. He did need a running back.
He needed a running back, but because I have the second waiver priority, I was going to pick him up, and he knew it would make my team better. And he admitted this to me, by the way.
No, I told him if he needed a running back, he should look at Devontae Booker.
And the guy
he also needed the device. He also needed a running back.
This wasn't this dude going to George and saying, "Hey, I need this advice." George told me he reached out to him and said, "You need a running back."
Well, I reached out to him for a trade, but while we were talking, I told him if I had that spot, I would pick up this player, which I do every week.
Mike.
Interesting. So I'm on Georgia's side all the way up until the end there. And that threw a little twist in it. That threw the little twist in there. I reached out to him
for a trade.
Oh, George, I've seen that innocent look before.
I don't have no innocent look. I'm not innocent.
I mean, it seems within the bounds to me. I think it's fair. If this is a conversation that never happens any other time, maybe I'm kind of upset about that. But hey, that's fantasy right there. I've had it happen. You can sit there I swear to God, a guy will be a bye week after week, and we're talking in these competitive money leagues. And then when they're up against me, they're like, "Hey, you need to set a lineup." It's like, what the hell? He hasn't set a lineup since October. Like, what is it?
Why's he got to start now?
Right? Like, why on the week that I'm playing the guy? But I don't know. Collusion should just be. Hopefully, you're just not in leagues with it. And if you are in leagues with it, I would say it's time to get rid of those leagues, man. That would be my vote. Just get out of there. Go join a sleeper league. Hop on where there's a lot of cool people that want to have fun with you and not do that. That's crazy talk.
Yeah,
I've asses at all costs.
I've never been in a league where there was collusion, so I don't know how to handle it. With the leagues that I run, if it's just there's a difference between a really, really bad trade and collusion. I don't believe in vetoes. I don't think any trade should ever be vetoed. I believe, especially if there's money on the line or you paid to get into the league, like you bought your groceries. You know, you're allowed to cook whatever you want. Now, you could cook a shit sandwich if you choose, but you know, it's not up to me as somebody in that league to tell you what to cook. So I don't really believe in vetoes at all, unless it's just absolutely blatant. Like I'm trading somebody who's done for the year, and I'm getting like a top 4 or 5 asset back, and it's not a dynasty league. Like, come on, that's just ridiculous. But yeah, if you got collusion in your league, Al, and you can actually prove it, and it's just not really, really bad, I would kick both players out. The two people who are colluding, you just get rid of them. You don't need it in the league.
Catapult them against a brick wall. I'm saying take this next level so other people in your league know never to collude.
Ball waxing is a good one, by the way.
It's good punishment, right?
Absolutely.
I thought that was just good standard.
I thought he was just saying ball waxing like it's.
I'm like, normal. Yep, I agree.
No, Barry was saying ball waxing as the punishment.
I tried to get.
What if it's a woman? They have an unfair advantage. This is totally true.
I tried to get George to wax his taint for charity once. He wouldn't do it.
Ah, see,
no,
poor
absolutely
sport.
not. Yes, absolutely. Let me see. We got
wax the taint on the show just because. Let's be funny.
No.
Will you? I mean, hold on. Let me look up.
Yep, there you go.
Kevin says AB is fool's gold. I absolutely agree with that.
Absolutely.
Al says, I told y'all about the government. I'm a DJ, though. Oswaldo, our thoughts are you're going to have to watch the replay once it's posted. That's what our thoughts are. Let's see. Barry said,
I think it's a situation, though.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike. I stepped all over.
I said it's a tricky situation. The whole AB thing. He'll get in there. I don't think any of us think he's going to be that impactful.
No.
But he will probably still be somewhat. He'll have his games. He'll have his targets, but not many.
Yep. Barry says he thinks I should have to eat tofu as a punishment. There is no way on God's green earth I am ever eating tofu. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Mike eats tofu.
I do. I like it.
I know he does because he has meat-free days.
Yeah.
That's nope. Get out, Mike.
Yeah, it happens. That's how you become a bottom.
Eating tofu makes you a bottom.
Eating tofu. I mean, that just happened.
I mean, listen, I've had tofu before. It's not my favorite thing. Okay, so quick story time. I used to work at Publix in the produce department, and this was back when I was skinny. I had some hair. I looked a little better. I wasn't so old. So, you know, the whole thing.
1982.
Not that quite. So I was married. I was married because I've been married forever. This is our 20th year together. Like it will be 20 in December. So I was married. So I was overstocking the tofu because I'm in produce. I'm stocking the tofu part. And this good-looking girl comes over and starts asking. There you go. This good-looking girl comes over and starts asking about the tofu, and you know I knew about it because I had to stock it. So, hey, maybe he worked with me. Hey, Barry. So she's like, have you ever eaten this before? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, why don't you come over and I'll make you some? And I was like, well, okay, I got this ring on and, I can't do that. And she's like, well, okay, I understand, but you really should try this. She goes, if you really season it up, it tastes like meat. And I said, you know why I like meat? And she goes, why? I go, because you don't have to do shit to it and it tastes like meat. She laughed.
Agreed.
I was being polite about it. She did just ask me over for dinner or something. So yeah, I totally turned it down, which is good because I'm still married. And but that's my thing on tofu. Like you can do all you want to it to make it taste like something else, but why wouldn't you just eat the other thing?
Right. See, and I mean, I don't try to cook it any particular way that like I'm like this is a hamburger. Like I don't do that. Like that's crazy talk.
So I'm in a chat with the guy, and this is where the whole tofu thing originated from. He made tofu tacos, and then he said he used an air fryer to cook them. And I'm like, that's just disgusting. Why would you take something as wonderful and as delicious and amazing as tacos and use tofu to ruin it?
Is there anything more hipster than cooking your tofu tacos in an air fryer?
I mean, that's total soy boy, right?
I don't know what that is.
Soy boy.
I'm
I don't know
lost.
what that is, but it made complete sense to me for some reason. I was like, that is a total soy boy thing to do.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm looking at myself in the camera now. I'm looking kind of scraggly. You guys need to tell me this shit. If I lost my teeth, I'd be hillbilly right now.
Hey, Jason,
Yo.
a soy boy is a I can't even pronounce that word. It's a term often used in online communities to describe men perceived as lacking masculine characteristics.
Oh,
The term bears many similarities and has been compared to the slang term cuck, another term popularly used as an insult for male femininity by online communities.
cuck's one of my favorite insults, I think. Yeah, cuck.
I mean,
Yeah,
is it just
throw you cuck at the end of about every sentence you throw out there where I lived.
you know which one I really like?
What's that?
The term fuck muppet. I heard it once, and I just like calling people that for no reason.
I've never heard that term before. It's automatically added to my vocabulary.
Yep.
You've expanded my vocabulary tonight, Jason. I appreciate you for that. Thank you.
You're
You
very,
fuck
very welcome.
Muppet.
You fuck muppet. It sounds like something a rated R Gordon Ramsay would say.
Oh,
It does, doesn't it?
Now you can't think of it any other way than him saying it.
Yes, I don't need to. I don't need to. It's Gordon Ramsay. It's perfect. Eating deconstructed tofu air fried tacos is more hipster. No, it's not. It's a cuck move.
Total cuck moves.
I wish Josh was here. I'm totally bashing him. Josh is a good dude. I'm just giving Josh a hard time, even though he's not here. He doesn't know about it.
Yeah, he's not watching.
No. Air fry and tofu, they should get the ball waxing. I absolutely agree. Air fryer and tofu, get the ball waxing.
Real quick, again, did we land on that being a bad thing? Like, I mean, I got ball wax in there. Ain't nothing wrong with that every now and again.
It feels painful.
So
it seems like it'd be painful.
So let me bring something up that we were talking about another day in one of the chats that I'm in. Me and Barry are both in this chat. They were talking about Manscaped. It's a chat with Neil. You guys both know Neil from Clock Dodgers, and one of the guys in the chat said that they should
Mormon.
do that he should do, like, when they do the promo. They said that Manscaped, it gets rid of all the hair you don't want pulled. And I'm like, that is actually a great slogan. And he's like, no, that's stupid. What's your guys' opinion on that slogan? Like, I think it's actually pretty, pretty good.
Or tested. It should also have or tested at the end of that.
So it gets rid of all the hair you don't want pulled or tested.
Or tested. There's a certain demographic that joke makes sense to.
Yeah. So, okay, since we're on the subject, I know we found out that Mike does wax his balls. George won't wax his taint. You guys trim up down there?
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
I don't know. There's dudes that don't.
My grandpappy used to always say, if you trim the bushes, it makes the trees look bigger.
That's true.
I just got. How many trees did your grandpappy have?
7.
Well, that's
7 trees. There's a reason why he was trimming the bushes then.
Had to, got to keep that good constant sunlight where it needs to be.
Oh man. This show is going downhill fast.
Well, you know what it is. We don't have a guest to keep us in line.
No,
Right.
we are totally left up to our own devices.
We'd never do this if there was a guest on.
Exactly. Oh, here we go. Comment of the day right here so far. I absolutely agree. If you don't maintain the yard, the HOA gets mad. That is absolutely correct.
That's
1,000%.
Florida joke. It was funny because it was just like, man, people are on top of their shit down here. And then I found out that, you have to be, or else people will actually yell at you and fine you, and they can actually make you move out.
Fallon, we're sorry you came in at this time.
I mean, a couple minutes earlier, you would have seen Mike waxing him.
Right.
Yeah, Fallon, just be thankful you missed Mike doing the whole ball waxing.
The demo, yeah. Just rewind. You'll be all right.
She's totally gonna check out when we're done here.
Right.
Oh, see. With that tape, hell yeah, dirty is bad. It might be a good time to do, but damn, don't want to have it to go through it. Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes there's just going to be days like that. That's all I can say, Al. Some days there's going to be days where the wax just gets ripped right off, buddy.
Just don't let it cool.
No.
Can't reheat it. Can't reheat it. Can't leave it. Still got to come off.
So here's why I would never get anything waxed, Jason. My daughter is a teenager. She's 16 years old, and she puts these little scrubby face mask things on her face, right?
Yeah.
And they're supposed to clean her face. Well, then they take all the dirt out of her pores and whatnot. Whatever. I don't know. Fucking, it's not my thing. A few weeks back, she asked me if she could put one of those on my face. And I'm just, you know what? I'll entertain you. Yeah, go for it. So she put one of those little mask things on my face, and it bubbles up and then it dries. And once it dries, you're supposed to peel it off. That shit hurt.
Such a wuss.
It dried. I'm sitting here just picking little tiny bits and pieces off my face. No, I'm not.
I
No,
feel like you set that up with your daughter so you didn't get judged by us for trying a face mask out. Just sitting there. We've all been drunk and stood next to the package and thought about it, George. It's all good, man. You don't have to blame.
I'd ask her to come in right now and verify. But I asked her the other day if she wanted to be on the podcast, and she said no.
I have proof that George paints his toenails.
Jason has proof I paint my toenails when I lose a bet.
So one time, I used to be pretty into video games, right? And I was sitting there playing this video game pretty heavy and not even paying attention. And my daughter's maybe 6, 7 years old at the time, maybe even younger than that. And so she sneaks up and she paints my toenails on my left foot. And I'm so into this game, I don't even notice that it's happening, right? She's all
That's fucking committed.
Does it? Well, so then I go hunting this following weekend, right? And I'm telling you, when I go to work, it's 4:00 in the morning, right? So I put my boots on and everything like that. When I get home at 7:00 at night, and back where that was, it was dark. I'd literally take my shoes off. I'd go hop in the shower. I'd hop out, eat some dinner, and go lay down in bed, right? I'd usually try to keep it dark. And so I don't even notice for 2 weeks that my toenails are painted until I go hunting with my friends, jump off a fence, and I break my ankle. And I have to go to the emergency room. And so when they take off my shoe and then they take off my sock, I look down and I've got these pretty pink and purple toenails. And they just look at me all crazy. And I look at them and I'm all, I didn't even know that was there. And I just start laughing. And I'm like, that must have been something that my daughter tells me later. Oh yeah, Dad, you were playing Call of Duty and I painted your toenails.
So we I used to have a friend, at one of my old jobs where he lived right next door to like his best friend, and they worked together, and they were always fucking with each other because they worked off shift. So like, my buddy came to work, and his neighbor like took down the American flag, hoisted up a big old gay pride flag, and flew it. And this guy gets off work at like 10 o'clock at night, so had no clue. So it was up there for days. So this guy, to get him back, he was going to a country, and I don't know any country singers, but it was like one of the bigger country singers at the time. He was going to a country concert, and the guy put a bumper sticker on the back of his Jeep that said "Cowboys' butts drive me nuts." And he drove like he was getting honked at on the way to the concert, had no idea, went to the concert, people were honking at him, all kinds of shit. He didn't know for like 3 days.
That's always a good setup. That's always the fun setups.
They went back and forth for like a month. It was so good.
So Al's putting us on the spot here, but I absolutely love the question. What's something y'all love and absolutely could live without? Don't say kids or wife or family. Give him some different
That'd be
shit.
the last thing I'd say on that list, Al.
So something I love and could live without.
I'm sure he meant couldn't live without. Like, I'm sure he meant couldn't. Something you love and couldn't live without. Or maybe it is absolutely. So something you love, something you couldn't live without. And you can't use your family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've been doing it for the last 6 or 7 months or so. So something I absolutely love to do, but have not been able to do it, is going to the movies. And while it sounds kind of trivial and small and very unimportant, like I love going to the movies. It's just something about sitting in the theater, being unplugged away from everybody, not answering a phone call, not checking text messages or alerts or any messages at all, not having to worry about work or anything like that. For like a solid 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I'm completely unplugged from everything. So that's something I absolutely miss. So I can live without it, but it's something I love, and so I'm gonna go with something as simple as going to the movies.
And he did mean couldn't. He said it after that. I just didn't want to ruin that emotional movie that you were on.
No, I think the question is actually harder to answer the way he worded it originally. Like, what's something you absolutely love, but you could live without? Like that. I think that's a deeper question. I think it's I like the way that's worded. It makes it a lot harder.
See, I don't know. I'm just kind of a weird guy. Like, I don't care about material things. I don't care about material possessions. These aren't things that are very important to me. So, I mean, like, I don't want to say family, but like literally family and fishing are the two things that I'm all about. Like, if I can just sit in here with my kids and my family and just hanging out and like playing a board game, something like that. I mean, these are the things that I do and that I enjoy. And I mean, outside of that, I really just don't do anything else. I read a lot of fantasy data and stuff like that. I watch a lot of football. But other than that, I'm pretty much a guy that hangs out with my kids and does stuff with them and hangs out with my girlfriend and does stuff with them. I mean, and that's awesome. You are a genius, Al. There is no doubt about it. That's why we're getting you on board more and more. Here we go.
You know what I miss? I miss playing a lot so before George and I did a lot of Sleeper Wire, him and I were in a relatively competitive Madden online league. And
I was
even
so
when
bad at it. I was so bad.
And even when I wasn't in that league, I'd play in some competitive, like I'd play against some decently ranked. I was very good at Madden. I'll say that. I was very, very good at Madden. And we're talking like 4 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. And I'd play Madden freaking every night. It would be the way I'd come home and unwind. I loved playing that game. And I'm living without it because I love fantasy football more. you know, and the time I was wasting on Madden, now I guess I'll just say now I'm wasting on fantasy football.
Right. There's no
So
shame in that.
so that's the thing I could live without that I love. The thing I couldn't live without is and it's not family, but it's so since we're doing the other question too, game time with my son. So, you know, I always wanted my kids to be gamers. My daughter for a long time loved Mario Kart, and we would play Mario Kart together to the
Until
point
she
where
got accused of cheating at school.
she did. So my daughter's the type of person that when she gets into something, she wants to be the absolute best at it. So she'll read tricks and strategies and that kind of thing. Like we play Monopoly and she'd kill us because she'd like go online and like talk about or read strategies on Monopoly, so she'd know which sections not to buy because you don't get enough money, and like she'd inevitably kill you at it. So
Awesome.
So my son and I are playing Roblox, and I try and make time for him every night. Friday night's like the one I get home late from work, and then I jump on here. So like Friday night's the one night I don't play, but I'm trying to play with him, and that's the one thing I couldn't live without because the excitement, him just seeing me being in the game with him, and I don't like most of the time I don't care about the games we're playing. You know, if you don't know what Roblox are, it's a bunch of mini games. Some of them are cool, some of them are really boring, but he loves them all. So, you know, he's just like, Daddy, come look at this. Look what I made. Come look at this. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. I couldn't live without that. It's like the highlight of my day every day.
That's awesome. What about this one here? What temperature does Fallon cook?
We're both trying to load that one, Mike.
That's awesome. I was like, what's going on here?
Jason, you're the cook here. I'll throw that one
here,
to you.
let me answer this first. So the way you handle a pork chop is you want to cook the one side to 350, and then you flip it, and then you cook the other side to right about 350 degrees as well. So the internal temperature is about 340 degrees. You then take it out of the pan. You set it inside of your sink. Shove it in where the garbage disposal is. Turn your water on and hit start on the right, and then go buy yourself a steak like a normal human being and stop eating pig. Ugh.
Bacon comes from pig, you animal.
Hey, so bacon is a different part.
All right, so I love that I can do that now.
The minute you insult bacon, Jason kicks you out.
No,
there was wasn't going to insult bacon.
That comes from special pigs as well as ham and sausage.
If you're grilling, you're supposed to cook it, I think, to 150. But Fallon, we've talked about. Let me Google that for you. Don't make me post the link.
So it also depends on what kind of pork chop you're cooking. Like, is it a thick pork chop? Is it a thin pork chop?
I mean, if it's thin, you cook it right on the stove. If it's thick, that's the only time you throw it on the grill. But I sous vide everything, right? Like I love the sous vide. So I sous vide my pork, and because you cook it for a long time, you can cook it to a little bit of a lower temperature. So I cook it when I sous vide, I cook to 130. I sear both sides. Fucking delicious.
There is no hatred for bacon here, okay? I'm cooking bacon in the morning. I'm already very excited about this moment in my week because most days I leave too early to enjoy crispy bacon. So no, I love bacon. Again, that comes from special pigs. Pork chops come from the evil ones that eat fish and stuff.
So we have pork chops is 145 if you're grilling.
So we have what I consider shit bacon at work, and it's because it's all microwave bacon. Like there's different levels of shit bacon. Like they serve us some bacon that is just absolutely god awful. It's terrible bacon.
They have really decent, but they do have decent microwave bacon there. Like I'm really surprised.
They have okay microwave bacon. It's okay. It's not decent. It's okay. One of the girls that is working in our my area, she just moved back to start working with us in our building again. She's so thoughtful. She came up the other day, yesterday, matter of fact. She was making bacon for breakfast, and she said, "Hey, I got you guys some bacon over here in the fridge because I think you're going to want some bacon once you start smelling mine." And let me tell you, those are the type of coworkers that you should be cherishing. If they're going to cook bacon and they know you're going to want some, so they bring you some too, like that's a great coworker. I just wanted to I wanted to say that.
In fact, you can get this Black Label pre-cooked bacon that you put in your freezer and you just microwave it for a few seconds.
Yep.
That shit is legit. Like that's some real good bacon.
Outside, okay, Madden, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, pick and send me the names.
Yeah, man, Al, it's been several years. Like, I haven't even bought a Madden in several years just because I don't have much time for it. And I'm actually here's the question. Any of you guys looking into getting a PlayStation 5? Because
No.
I desperately want one, but I haven't turned my Xbox on in like 5 months. So like I don't know if I'd actually even use it, but I really want one for no reason.
Yeah, no, I will have one. I will have GTA 6. I will cause some fuckery. I will blow shit up. I will buy tanks. I will pay real money to do these things because I love that shit. But then I lose interest. Like, so I'm with you. Like, I don't feel like it's been a really long time since I've even played my PlayStation. I think when Red Dead Redemption came out, the new one, Red Dead whatever, I think it is Red Dead Redemption 2. When that came out, I played that for a few months, and then after that, I just kind of stopped. Like I was pretty good at Call of Duty. Like I got a few dubs in the old Warzone and stuff like that, but I just don't kind of lost interest in that kind of stuff too. So I've just been kind of waiting back for some good gaming, and I think the PS5 will bring that.
So when I used to work for the sheriff's office, I would work night shift. My schedule was 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it was like basically you had 2 days on, 2 days off, 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. So you had multiple nights in a row where you were off. And I refused to adjust my sleep schedule to sleep during the day on my days off because I had to be up for work, a night or two later, all night long, 6 at night, 6 in the morning. So me and about 4 or 5 of my other friends every night, right around 12:30 when my wife would go to bed, like we would all text each other, "Hey, getting on," and we'd jump on the Xbox and we play Modern Warfare, and we go around in our little clans and we would just tear people up. It was so much fun. I had a blast doing that with the sheriffs. I was like, I'm not saying I was very good. I was by far not the best person on my team, but I could snipe the shit out of somebody. That was my specialty, was the sniper and running around with a shotgun. Those were the two things I was actually really good with. So we would just go through, tear shit up, and then we always had the one guy in our group who would always talk shit to everybody. And then we just go through and annihilate them in the next round. It was so much fun, but I haven't done that in years. It's probably been, honestly, other than when I was playing the Madden with Jason, like the Modern Warfare was over a decade ago. Easy.
Well, I used to be big into Halo. Like when Halo 2 came out, we took the next day. Like me and my buddies took the next day off. We stood in line at midnight and went and got it. And when we got home, my wife and my buddy's wife were really cool. They decorated the room with like Halo stuff. So like we had snacks on the table and they called them health packs, and they called the trash can a bin for a dead body. Like we totally nerded out, but man, I guess I'm getting too old for it, but I don't know. I still want a PlayStation 5.
My son will get one, so I will get one through osmosis.
Don't pour water on it.
Being an adult is frivolous spending when you shouldn't. Like, yay.
Yep. Barry wants to know, how many leagues are we actually in, and how many leagues does your significant other think you are in? Jason, I'll throw this one to you first.
I'm either in 9 or 10. I'm trying to add them up. I'm either in 9 or 10 leagues. My wife doesn't care how many I'm in. Like, as long as it doesn't totally take over everything, and I've got it pretty much on autopilot for most of those now. So 9 or 10 leagues. I will say, and I mentioned this in our group chat, not to another tangent, right? So if we're talking about lying to our significant others. So the other night, Mike and I were on a Monday night show, and he had to run off real quick. Pretty early on into the show, his girl he thought maybe they were getting ready to run to the hospital to have the baby, so he had to get off the phone or off the show. And that meant that the show was cut short and I needed to go back out and see the wife and the kids or whatever. So I just put a repeat of the show on, or one of the other shows where I was on, and I fucking took it. I took a nap.
Hey,
So you
Brilliant.
could hear me. You could hear me talking through the door, and I just fell asleep for an hour. It felt so good. I felt so bad.
Ferris Bueller shit right there.
I felt so bad after, but I did it.
So I am personally in 12 leagues, and I commission 12 leagues. So between our charity leagues and other leagues, I just happen to be the commissioner in. I'm in 12 leagues. I commissioned 12 leagues. I actually did a startup draft, it's a weird best ball vampire elimination league that I just joined, and we drafted Wednesday night. So I just added another league on Wednesday. But yeah, in 12, commission 12. My wife knows I'm in about 10 or 11 leagues. She doesn't give a damn how many leagues I'm in. She listen, when you tell me to PayPal you, it comes out of her account. So she knows how many leagues I'm in because when you get the PayPal, it's coming from her. So she knows she's paying for them, and she knows how many I'm in.
Goodness sakes. So between the two, you guys have 22 leagues?
Well, so I've
got 24 that between commissioning and actually participating in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but-
That's more my speed.
So I'm commissioning 4 this year. So I'm in 9, commissioning 4. Separate leagues. Like, I'm not in those 4 leagues. I'm a commissioner of 4 charity leagues that I'm not actually in.
Yeah, so I've got 24 leagues that I'm actually responsible for, whether it's being the commissioner or whether it's actually participating.
So I'm in I think 26 when you count all, and I'm not really too sure how many of those I'm commissioner, and I'm a participator in all of them. I don't know. I think I'm in 18 dynasty leagues alone, just on its own. This COVID season was bad for this guy, dude. That was bad. It was bad for my dynasty addiction. I was in a draft every other day, and we're talking 8-hour slow draft. It got to a point where that 8-hour slow draft was coming at me like a 30-second draft because I was in so damn many of them. I was I was loving it. So I got involved in way too many dynasty leagues. But I don't know. I feel like I'm still I'm navigating exactly every single league. If you ask my girlfriend if I'm in too many leagues, she'd probably say no. She'd probably say that, I don't know. Me and her we have a good match together, and she lets me have a little bit of time, and she gets what she likes to do during that time done too. And then we just kind of meet up in the middle. So
That's obvious because you're about to have a baby.
yeah. Oh yeah. Very exciting stuff.
So Fallon wants to know why Jason is called the frugal one when I won't pop 10 cents for cheese on his burger, which is not true. But I mean,
I hope to God that's not true. I will.
So let me ask you this, Mike. Let me ask you this.
Outside.
Okay, I need to get your opinion on this.
You're fisting him.
George is now my puppet.
Here, huh? So let me ask you this. You're going out, you're buying lunch for multiple people, right? They ask you to bring them back lunch. So you're like, yeah, I'll grab you something for lunch, bring it back, no problem. You go through, you get all the burgers, you get none of them with cheese. You don't even get cheese on yours. You bring it back to the office, right? It's about 30, Jason, what would you say? It's about 35, 40-minute drive from Titusville to where we were working.
I don't know. Somewhere around between 20 and 30.
Yeah. So it's a decent little drive, right? So the burgers are not going to be warm when you get back. We have a full kitchen. The kitchen has bacon. It has 3 or 4 different kinds of cheeses, a lettuce and tomato, anything, all the condiments you want, and it's all free. So I bought everybody lunch. I didn't get cheese on the burgers. And I said the reason I didn't get cheese is because it didn't make sense to me to pay 35 cents a burger.
It wasn't
for
35
a slice
cents,
of cheese.
but that's okay.
Okay,
It's
we'll say 25. We'll say 25. Right? When you go into the drive-through at the fast food, they're charging anywhere between 25 and 35 cents for a fucking slice of cheese. Anyway, so I told him, no, I didn't get cheese on the burgers because we have 3 or 4 different kinds of fucking cheese right here in the refrigerator. You're going to have to take your meat and put it in the microwave to make it warm anyway. So put the cheese that's in the refrigerator on your burger. Is that wrong? Or should I have splurged the extra $3 or whatever it was to get everybody cheese?
I don't know. I don't ever hear of anybody ever buying just regular hamburgers. Like, I thought that was a myth that you could even.
No, it happens.
Like, I thought when you went out to get those, you got a freaking cheeseburger, and that was the end of the day. You went and got your cheeseburger.
If I have cheese in the house, or in this case, I'm buying for a group, and we have 3 different kinds of cheese. We got cheddar, we got provolone.
Oh my word.
We got pepper jack, like we have Swiss. Like, get your own cheese; it's free.
We have a multitude of cheese options here.
Yeah, why would I pay the extra money?
I mean, let's face it. Why would I get cheese on my pizza? I got cheese at home. Why would I get pepperoni on my pizza? I got pepperoni at home.
Yes.
It's not pepperoni though. It was cheese on a burger that you are having to heat up to make it warm to begin with.
By the way, I am not high, but I really do want some cheeseless pizza and take some American cheese and just slap it on there and melt it now and see how that goes.
I can, as somebody who's worked in the pizza industry, never order your pizza without cheese. Even if you don't like the cheese, order it with cheese and then scrape it off. Because when you cook it like that, it dries out so fast.
It's not bad.
It's like
I have to tell you,
it's like eating cardboard with sauce. It's disgusting.
So what you do is you ask for extra sauce and it doesn't dry out. And the only reason I know is my brother-in-law is deathly allergic to dairy. So when he comes over for pizza, he gets a cheeseless pizza with extra sauce and sausage. And the shit's not. I've had a slice of it before. It's actually not bad.
It's too dry, in my opinion. Dr. Kane 21 on the PS4 is Mike.
Yep, that's me. So add me if you guys want to. And no dubs. Al, you just got to join up with me. We'll go get you a couple dubs.
I don't even know what a dub is.
Oh, that's
Is that a victory? Is that a win?
That's a win.
It's a W.
Okay. Let's see. Pro move. I agree. It was a pro move.
I think
he wasn't talking about the burgers, but I'm claiming that one. I'm stealing that one. Okay. Does y'all significant other or fam play fantasy football with y'all? If so, who's better if they do? I can safely say none of our significant others play fantasy football with us. Nope. My kids don't. Mike's girlfriend does not, and Jason's wife does not as well. So
my girlfriend did last year, and she's pretty pissed at me that I didn't get her involved in a league this year. Although I just didn't know she wanted to, because she kicked some ass last year. She did pretty good. She whooped my ass twice. So
thank you, Al.
But I did help her draft that team. Throwing that out there.
Thank you, Al.
Hey, if you've never had pepper jack cheese on a hamburger,
let's go back to this one. Let's not gloss over this one.
I put it up there. I didn't gloss over it. I put it up there.
Let's not gloss it. Let's highlight that one, and then we get back to this one.
Yeah, I think we should just do like a waist down waxing, like where you hook him up underneath the arms and dip him into wax from the waist down.
Now let me say
that covers b-hole, that covers legs.
I like pepper jack on a burger. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm. But there's something different about when you cook a burger to actually grill the cheese onto the burger at the same time.
What do you think the microwave does?
Later.
No.
What do you think the microwave does? It melts the cheese to the burger.
It's not the same.
Oh, it is definitely the same.
Waxing for you.
Let's see. AMA where you go to learn useless info. None of this is useless, Fallon. None of this is useful or useless. It's all useful.
Someday you'll be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and you'll go, I know the answer to this.
From that Friday night.
And the answer will be ball wax.
Ball wax. Ball wax with Showtime George. Showtime George.
So, do you guys have any tips here to help Al with his dilemma?
Listen, Al, you don't want that nonsense in your life.
You don't.
You-
You
Then
really
they
don't.
beat you and then mock you, and you
It's
don't
not-
want that, buddy.
It's not even that. It's that, like, if you wanted another league, just be in another league, because you know what happens when you get her involved. It's just your league again.
There are some things men are meant to do without women.
Ball waxing is
and
one.
not ball waxing is one. And I worded that completely wrong. And let me rephrase that, because I don't want to imply I don't think women should be playing fantasy football. And actually, in all actuality, I believe 100% the opposite. There should be a lot.
There should.
Mike was getting rid of himself.
I'm not knocking you off. I'm running the fuck out of there.
I was like, you're getting rid of yourself now. I worded that wrong. I want to take it back. There should be more women playing in fantasy football. I honestly don't think that there's enough. There should be a lot more. But what I'm trying to say before I put my foot in my mouth is, with regards to your significant other, there are some things you just want to do on your own to where it's just yours. And I think fantasy football kind of falls into that category. Like, at least for me, like, I love my wife. You know, we've been married 18 years. If I put her into a fantasy football league and she starts to enjoy it, you know what she's going to want to do? Get in another one with me.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in 2 leagues with her. And then I'm in 4 leagues with her. And then the next thing you know, she's in the Scott Fish Bowl and she's doing a lot better than me. And now she's bragging about it to her friends. And you just don't need that stress in your life.
This sounds an awful lot.
The more you just explained it right there, that all sounded like a pretty sweet deal to me.
Hey,
so I'm
Mike,
like, I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing to get her more involved.
You know what he's describing, and our relationship, I think, is only 7 years old, but he's actually describing his and my relationship.
No.
Yeah, absolutely, because he was in a handful of leagues, and now I'm in 4 leagues with him, and now I'm in 5 leagues with him, and I was doing better in Scott Fishbowl than he was. I think he's talking more about me than he is anybody else.
I mean, I guess you could be my wife.
I mean, I'm your podcast wife.
But no, there's some things you just don't want to have your significant other there. You want it to be something you could do to get away. You need your own time. And maybe it's because I've been married for so long, like that's why my view is the way it is. Like, there are things I'll do with my wife I don't want to do. There's things I do that she doesn't want to do. And it's great that way. Like, that's truly, truly good. Be with the girl for 18, 19 years, and you're just going to want to be like, no, this is for me, not for you. This is my fun. Let me have my fun. I don't need you having my fun too.
Showtime George.
We still need bath time with Showtime. So this actually happened. Chris was doing the Thursday night show when he had Dr. Morse on, and he made the mistake of putting the StreamYard link in the one of the chats that we're in, instead of sending it to Nader via DM. I ain't gonna lie, I just happened to be in the bath at that time. So I clicked on the link, and sure as shit, I joined Chris for a good 2 or 3 minutes while I was in the bath. So the bath time with Showtime did happen, but the only person who got to enjoy the bath time with Showtime was Chris. Fallon said, "What? Yes, I know. I definitely needed to reword that. It was poorly worded. I already said I put my foot in my mouth. It didn't come out the way I intended it to."
Breaking news.
Oh,
at
Mike,
BFTG Pod. Yeah, breaking news at BFTG Pod says, "Oh, there it is."
There you go.
So
Yeah.
Breaking news. At BFTG Pod says women shouldn't play fantasy football.
That's not what I said.
George, back to you.
That is not what I said.
Now we're gonna shoot over to the ball blast some girls for reaction.
I removed myself for that.
You should have.
I should listen. I sincerely apologize. That did not come out the way I wanted it to. Yes, it's a couple days. Vote away. Vote for Kanye.
I'm going voting tomorrow.
Let's see. It's 2020. No judgment. Fantasy football wives. Again. There's some things you just want to have your fun with.
I think he's talking about you and me.
Oh yeah. That's for sure. For sure. Just the two of us.
You and I.
Oh, look, we got Mike back on the bottom again.
Right back at you.
18 years. Congratulations. This beautiful thing on me. Thanks, Al. I appreciate that. I don't know how she's tolerated me for 18 years. To be brutally honest, I don't know. And Jason, as he mentioned earlier, he's pushing 20. I don't know how she's tolerated him for 20 years either.
No, I have no clue what's. I mean, probably because I'm rich, like you said earlier.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why instead of a really nice studio, I'm recording from my bedroom.
What you can't see about Jason's bedroom is it's actually a 25 by 30 square foot bedroom, so it's huge.
Yeah, okay.
It's the whole third floor of his mansion.
That's exactly what it is.
Jay don't need that. Now he might get canceled. Fallon, I heard Gio say that. Fallon, I'm gonna say no, you didn't. You heard what you wanted to heard.
You know what I do know is that right after the show, this posts to YouTube, and I can selectively edit.
I know. Let me see. Isn't Jason Gio's boss? The answer to that question is not directly. No. I am a lead. Jason is a supervisor, so he is one step higher up the management chain than me. But I do not report to Jason. He is not in my chain.
That was close.
It was very close. It almost happened. I took the position to be the lead over there, and then our manager came to me and said, "Hey, if we create this position for you, would you like to stay where you're at?" And I chose to stay where I was at.
Oh, I just laughed I cackled a bit, but that made me laugh out loud.
I completely missed it. What happened?
Nothing at all.
We're just chilling.
So Jay, you at 20. Homie, congratulations. You're all our inspiration for sure. Yeah. So December will be 20. I had plans to take my wife traveling, but we're gonna wait a little bit and do that next year maybe. But I got some money set aside.
I hate you guys.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I absolutely hate you guys.
Oh my! I'm glad you finally saw that.
That is not what I said.
Hey, I was just quoting. That was a direct quote.
Direct quote my ass. You fuck muppet.
I love it.
Oh shit. So I don't think we have any more questions. I know we're over an hour now. It's almost 10:20. Jason's still on top. Okay. See what else got. Okay, got one. What do you see yourself doing at this age when you were younger? What's y'all's age? Only because I'm curious. Okay, so
George is old as fuck because he still thinks women shouldn't be in things.
Jesus Christ. I literally realized the rabbit hole I was going down as I was saying it and said, stop. No, this is not what I mean. Let me rephrase this. So I am going to be 40 in about a month. November 20th is my 40th. When I was in high school, and they do those stupid things in the yearbook when your senior year says what do you want to be when you grow up? I put a police officer, and I got to do that for 8 years. I worked in a jail. After I got out of the I worked in a jail for 8 years. I was in charge of the corrections response team, which is basically like the SWAT team for the jail. It was the chain of command is we had a lieutenant, we had a sergeant, and then I was the corporal in charge. And the sergeant was only there basically in name only, because I needed a sergeant at the time. So he did not want to be really involved. And I told him, listen, I just need you to get shit for me. I'll do the work. You just stay on his name. The guy's to this day is still a good friend of mine. But yeah, it was cool. I got to be a defensive tactics instructor for the sheriff's office. I've been tased. I've been not spray painted. I've been maced. I've been in more fights than I ever care to count. I've seen some of the craziest shit that in a jail that you would never believe. Like I seen a dude try to saw his penis off with a razor blade. Like no shit.
I told you to never tell anybody about that, George. Like it was one Zoom call and it was a weird moment. Like, calm down. Like I dialed the wrong number.
I had a guy that was naked on the upper tier. So we had in the jail you have two tiers, tier 1, tier 2. And he was standing on the other side of the railing, and he's butt naked, saying he was going to jump. Clearly, the guy had mental health issues. So me and 3 others, we lined up on the opposite side of the door that he was on. And typically in the jail, like you can have your control room hit a button, the door will pop, and it'll make a noise. And that noise echoes throughout the whole cell block. And inmates would know, hey, somebody's coming in. Well, we took a key, turned the key, to go through the door, and you don't hear that pop anymore. It's completely silent. So me and this other guy, Sheldon, when you think of Sheldon, think of a big ass fucking boy from the Panhandle who probably was an offensive lineman for Alabama at one point. That's what he was. He was 6'7", 350 pounds, just as big ass of a man. Me and him grabbed this guy who was butt naked and suplexed him up over the railing so he wouldn't be able to jump down. So those are some of the stories I can share. I absolutely enjoyed my time in the jail. It changed who I was as a person, and my wife threatened to divorce me if I did not quit my job, and she was going to take the kids. So I kind of was forced to leave, and I'm really glad it did because it worked out. I got to meet Jason with the job I'm at now. Then both him and I started doing a podcast because we argue about pretty much everything. And then that podcast spun us into joining Sleeper Wire. We got to meet Mike. 3 of us are like brothers now, and here we are today. So long story short, it was a good time, but grateful for everything I got to do there. But yeah, that was what I wanted to be when I grew up as a cop, and I got to do that for 8 years.
I don't have a story on I was never motivated to do anything really. I've worked since I was 15. I never really had motivation to go do anything. I went back, so I joined a company called United Space Alliance. We launched space shuttles when I was 23. When I was 26, I went back to school because we knew the space shuttle program was going to end. And I went to be a guy in IT. I have a networking degree that I've never used. Because when I graduated in 2008, it was the height of the recession we were having. And, I was going to entry-level interviews for IT, and they were hiring guys that had decades of experience because there were just no jobs out there. So these guys were just showing up with all this experience and taking the shittiest, cheapest jobs you could get just so they'd have something. So I never used my IT degree. My 2-year degree did get me my current job just because it was between me and another guy who didn't have a degree, and they picked me because I had a degree. So, and George, that at the bottom is totally incorrect.
For more women to be involved in fantasy.
So growing up, I never like had a dream. Long time ago, I thought about being a lawyer until I found out how many lawyers there were, and that it didn't pay very well. Most lawyers aren't your rich lawyers; they're out there hustling and not making shit. And there were just so many, and you start reading the statistics of how many people like graduate from law school every year, and how many like don't make any money after going into massive debt. So I was never motivated to do anything other than what was right in front of me. Mike, same thing?
Yeah, basically, I mean, just be a hustler. I mean, that's what I wanted to be ever since I was a kid. I saw where everything was, like the writing on the wall, what kind of lifestyle this would lead to, what kind of lifestyle this would lead to. I remember telling people I don't want to go to college when I was like 10 years old, and they're like, well, you want to go. And I'm like, no, I don't really need the financial strapping. And when I can go get a job and a successful career in an arena, if I learn a trade or anything to that effect. I mean, I was already adamant about not doing the normal thing when I was a kid. And I mean, I just kind of never really looked back. I've kind of just always done what I felt and felt what I've done and just kind of gone that way. And if I dive into something, I always dive 100% until I learn it, until I can be the best I possibly can. I can't say I'm ever the best at anything, but I definitely give it my 110% every chance I get to go out there and try to be the best I can at everything. So that's all I do. That's all I do. You just go out there and try to make it one day at a time. And I chose that life at a very young age. I was like, I don't want to be the cookie cutter, like I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go to college for 8 years. I'm going to do this. I believe law was also one of my passions until same thing. I didn't want to be an ambulance chaser. And I think that's exactly what you are if you want to make money as a lawyer these days. So I was out.
Don't say that. Man, my daughter wants to be a lawyer.
Yeah, it can be a noble profession. Like, look, you work for the government and you can be a prosecutor, and it can be super rewarding putting bad people away, right? Like, I've known a few prosecutors that work for the government, and they really are passionate about what they do, but like they also don't make shit, and they work hard, and they're stressed all the time, and you don't do a good job, and somebody who's guilty goes free, and all of that shit that goes with it. But like, it's not bad. It's just when you start looking at the statistics of how many people graduate from law school every year, you go, can there really be that much work? And for me, the answer was no. So I went in a different direction.
Yeah, I didn't do the college thing. Came out of high school, joined the military. From there, got out military, went to sheriff's office. Got real lucky to be where I'm at now, because my qualifications at the time would not get me to where I'm at right now. To where I'm at right now has truly just been me grinding. Didn't have what I'm doing now. I had no experience in until I got to where I'm at. So the job that I have to do was not my background at all. It's just something I kind of fell into, and I feel like I've had to work harder than most to succeed to get where I'm at, because a lot of people have come along that's got a lot more experience than me at what I'm doing. So I've always said I'm not the smartest person, but there's not a fucking person there that's going to outwork me. And that's just been my mentality. So, I don't know about you guys, but I think we're done.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Put a hole on this sucker.
Yeah, I haven't had dinner yet, so as soon as we get out of here, I'm gonna go have some canned.
You look like you can miss a meal.
I could miss a meal, but I'm not gonna.
Oh, Mike, stop it!
Mike's got
Stop what?
I mean, listen, George always makes the joke. George always makes the joke about throw bread at a woman, and her womanly instincts will kick in, and she'll make you a sandwich.
I ain't gonna lie.
And then just took out his last leg to stand on.
I ain't gonna lie.
That was the sweet kick.
I will not lie. I did post that on Facebook. And I not only did I put that on Facebook, I tagged my wife because I wanted her. I wanted her to see it because they're my toenails. Look how sexy my feet are. Yep.
If you can really get in there, you can see how hairy his feet are. He needs some ball wax and then foot wax.
Oh, I listen. We need to get Manscaped as a sponsor because they send you their products to use. I lost the bet and had to paint my toenails. And yes, I did go on Facebook and post that if you in an argument with your significant other, just throw bread at them. Their naturally womanly instincts will kick in, and they'll go to the kitchen and make you a sandwich. And then five minutes later, my son literally took a loaf of bread and threw it at my wife. I thought she was going to kill him. Come to find out, she took him to Firehouse Subs and got him a sub.
And got him a sandwich.
So maybe there's something to this after all. I'm not really sure.
So apparently you got a broken wife because instead of making sandwiches, she just goes and buys one.
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
The instinct still kicked in. It just was a different reaction.
It modernized.
Yeah, Al says what's the meal for the night? Al says, what's the meal for the night? Listen, it's 10:30. I'm not doing anything extravagant. I'm gonna take some. I've been hankering for some corned beef hash, so I'm gonna get some canned corned beef hash. I'm gonna crack an egg over it, and we're gonna eat that for dinner and call it done.
What about you, Mike? What's dinner?
Dinner was chicken stir fry.
My dinner was a stromboli with ham, sausage, pineapple, and green peppers. Absolutely delicious. So, all right, we're getting out of here. Jason's got corned beef hash. Al, Fallon, Barry, everybody who joined us. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Looking forward to next week. I believe I've got a guest lined up, just waiting for confirmation. Once we have confirmation, I'll let y'all know who it is. Join us on the Blitz on Sunday. Until then, have a good night.